We've got the longest standing prep rivalry in the country, an 8 overtime instant classic, the Tri-Valley League final, and a clinching in the Boston North. Week 10 was crazy. Aren't you glad there's a football show dedicated to this stuff? I'm Chad Finn. You're watching The Huddle. Let's get right to the highlights. In Andover, the absurd led to the baffling, which in turn led to the historic, which is exactly what you're looking at right here. Andover's Andrew Koch scored 8 touchdowns, and the Golden Warriors got a huge stop in the 8th overtime by Jimmy Walsh to pull out the victory. Lowell's Kyle Edwards threw 8 touchdown passes. There's that number again. 4 going to Josh McLaughlin, and Anthony Courtois scored 5 touchdowns for Lowell as well. But Andover won the marathon 88-82 for a shot at the MIAA playoffs. Joe Jaskolski punched in 2 touchdowns, and Andreas Robinson ran for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns as Phillips Exeter beat Phillips Andover 56-33 in the longest standing prep school rivalry in the nation. While we're talking prep schools, Lawrence Academy put a thumping on Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols Friday night in a 36-7 victory. Marcus Grant caught 7 passes for 150 yards and a pair of touchdowns, including this 56-yard bomb from Michael Orloff. Both teams will be playing in knapsack bowls this weekend. In the Tri-Valley League final, the Holliston Panthers got their revenge, beating visiting Medway 33-14. Kevin Curry scored a pair of touchdowns for Holliston, and quarterback Sean Mayo ran in a pair of scores as well. The Panthers can clinch an MIAA playoff berth with a Thanksgiving Day win over Westwood. In the city, Madison Park shocked host East Boston in a 22-14 win to clinch the Boston North League title and garner a Division IV playoff berth. Kyrie Hudson caught a 12-yard touchdown from Alexander Plaza to get the Cardinals on track. Joining me as always is Globe High School sports editor Bob Holmes. Bob, can it get any better than this? I think this week 10 is probably our first 88-82 score we've talked about.
I think so. You know, we all slogged to work on Monday morning and we all ask each other, how was your weekend? Well, if you live in Andover, it was pretty amazing. 88-82 game. Highest scoring game in the history of Massachusetts. Andrew Koch scores 8 touchdowns. And the amazing thing isn't just about Friday night, it was just the beginning. On Saturday, the Andover field hockey, swim team, and volleyball team all won sectional championships to remain undefeated. It was just a fantastic 24-hour period in Andover.
So they've got a little bit to celebrate up there. Have you heard of a football game relatively recently here where teams have combined for 170 points?
Nothing. I think we checked the record books and we found the highest scoring game was 256 points, but it was 256-0, believe it or not. I'm not sure who covered or if they did, but that was the highest scoring game we've ever seen. The highest scoring game, I believe, in Massachusetts was 99 points that Newburyport scored on Thanksgiving about 50 years ago.
This week's going to be tough to top going into week 11 here. What should we look for? Who are we looking at as our game of the week?
A big game up on the North Shore. Clearly the right direction to go this week. North Shore against Northeast for the Commonwealth Small Championship. Northeast is the defending Super Bowl champion. North Shore has Jesse Wilkins, who's closing in on 2,000 yards rushing.
That's a familiar name. I've seen him in print quite a bit this year.
Yeah, he's one of the leading scorers in the league. He's had a fantastic year, but it'll be tough for him to run against Northeast. They have a really, really strong line.
That's a wrap on this week's edition of The Huddle. Up next, my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. Our show next week will be on those Turkey Day matchups. Don't forget to subscribe to The Huddle on iTunes. For all the latest on Eastern Mass football, go to boston.com/schools. He's Bob Holmes. I'm Chad Finn. We'll see you next week.